So I was 7 years old. Dad took me and my brother to Carl's Jr. This is back in Middle East. I'm talking about 97, 98, around that time. And there was a motorcycle in front of Carl's Jr. Big black bike, chrome, black and chrome combination, beautiful, massive, massive bike. Looking back at it, remembering, I think it was a Softail Heritage that my dad said, son, go stand in front of it. Let me take a picture of you next to the bike. I'm like, Dad, I don't care. He's like, no, it'll be fine. I'm like, okay. So I stand next to the bike. I wish I had that picture with me so I can show you guys. And the guy back then had remote start. And say cheese, cheese, the bike started. My pants turned brown because I've never heard anything so loud. Fell in love with motorcycles ever since. That fear made me want to look at this thing, increased my curiosity much more to see what is this big, beautiful black and chrome thing. I fell in love with it ever since. Motorcycle toys, bicycles, left and right, 2 wheels for life, right? And ever since, I've been looking at motorcycles, and I wanted to make a collection of multiple bikes. I did want a Fat Boy, I wanted a Street Bob, I wanted a Tri-Glide, a Big Dog K9, and a BMW R90, a Matrix-themed arch signed by the one himself, saying because I choose to, and a Ducati Panigale or Panigale, that's however you pronounce it, whatever it is, you guys know. And at this point, nothing you ever did or said, no story you can ever tell me would convince me not to ride a motorcycle. If I am going to go down, I'm going to go down on this thing. This is how I'm going to meet my creator. I love this thing with all of my heart. Nothing and no one can convince me otherwise. I became addicted to it. But the problem was, every time I come to buy a bike, either I wasn't financially ready, or something in me, just like this 1 to 5%, there was this little voice in me telling me to wait a little bit. There's something better. There's something better. I don't know what it is, but I just couldn't. For some reason, I did not have the chance to buy a bike. So how did I get by? You rent bikes, you ride your friends' bikes. It goes on. It went on like that for a long time. You manage. For those of you who haven't ridden motorcycles or don't know the joy of this, nothing in life compares to the joy of riding a motorcycle. No car ever comes close to this, because someone once said, when you're driving a car, it's like you're watching a movie. When you're riding a motorcycle, it's like you're making your own movie. And it sure is. When the wind hits your head and you feel that freedom, the sense that you can go anywhere, you're invincible, right? Nothing compares to it. Until one day, I was out and about, and on my way home, I needed a few stuff from the supermarket, so I stopped by. And upon entry, I see this guy wearing multicam pants, multicam hat, and a multicam jacket, US veteran, lost both his legs on a wheelchair. He looks at me, he smiles, he nods his head. I look at him, I smile, I nod my head again. He talks to the associate. I put on my earpods, blasting metal music. He goes on about his way, I go on about my shopping. And I get my cream cheese, my smoked salmon, and my bread. And I come to the cashier. And in front of me, in line, there is a woman standing. In front of that woman is this man on a wheelchair. So this man turns back and tells me, excuse me, and mind you, I had my earpods on, I'm listening to metal, I can't hear him. So he turns back again, he waves at me, he says, excuse me. I'm like, me? He says, yeah. Sir, can I please offer to pay for all of your stuff? I'm like, you want to pay for my stuff? He's like, yes, please. I'm like, sir, I think you've paid enough for this country. Thank you for what you did, for your service. Let me offer to pay for your stuff. He's like, no, please, I insist. Please let me pay for your stuff. I'm like, sir, if you insist, that's very nice of you, thank you. He's like, yes, please, I do. So he ends up paying for the stuff of the woman behind him, in front of me, and all of my stuff. Now, I'm in shock and I'm in disbelief of the kind act that the guy did. And I'm like, sir, is there anything I can do to help? He's like, no, I'm fine. I'm like, thank you so much for this. He's like, yes, of course. So I'm walking out, the woman comes to me and says, can you believe what that guy did? I'm like, no, it's incredible. She's like, he really didn't have to. I'm like, I know, but he did. So she goes out and I'm walking out. So this guy comes to me and stops me again. He's like, sir, excuse me. I'm like, yes, tell me, my friend. He's like, I don't know why, but I feel like God put it in my heart to tell you. I didn't lose my legs in combat, though I served, but I didn't lose my legs in war. I was a motorcycle rider. And I was a very first ones ever to jump 200 feet above school buses as a stunt. And I landed on my feet. I lost the motorcycle, and that's how I lost both my feet. And I don't know why it's in my heart to tell you this, but I feel like this is something you should know. And I don't want anything from you. I'm not asking any help. I'm not asking any donations. I just want you to have a beautiful, blessed night. Oh God, I'm getting goosebumps saying this. And he went on about his way. Now, mind you, I am not wearing anything on me that remotely indicated I love motorcycles. Truth be told, I was out with a girl. I was wearing my tan Timberland boots, my blue jeans, and a black polo. Even my earring was much more subtle than this. No rings, no patches, nothing. You can't tell I'm a motorcycle rider. I didn't even have long hair back then. Why would this guy, of everyone in the world, come and tell me a story that has nothing to do with anything? At that point, if I don't listen to God, I probably deserve what's coming to me. Now, you might say, well, you don't have to ride recklessly. You can always be careful. You're right. But it's just 100 meters, right? You can always gas it a little bit. I won't see the oil on the street. It's just one turn. You can always drift into it. Have a little bit of a fun. Nothing's gonna happen, right? It's just a small bump. Just get over it. You'll land fine. Yeah. Sounds familiar? It's just one sip of a drink. No one's gonna know. It's just one line. How many times we've heard that before? That's how it starts. Perhaps I was gonna be a very careful rider, but maybe God was actually protecting me from myself. Perhaps nothing was gonna happen. I don't know. All I know is I know that was God talking to me. And I cannot deny him this time. I cannot disregard it this time. This thing will forever have a special place in my heart. I will forever be a biker at heart. I know that sounds funny. Some of you might disagree. Well, you never had a bike. I get it. I rode a lot of them. But it is extremely difficult for me to see my friends riding bikes and me not being able to. But this I know. If my love of motorcycles is going to keep me from holding my baby in my arms, embracing my wife, more importantly, stop me from doing this, I don't want this. I'd rather obey than go after my heart's desires. Obedience over my own desires. I don't care how much I love this. Forever, this thing will have a special place in my heart. I ask you all to ride safe. Put God first. As for me, I guess some things are better off in our hearts than they are in our lives. God bless you, and God loves you. Ride safe, rubber side down.